Right, here we are then. So this is the one that I've received lots of emails about. This is Show Me the Money. As most of you are aware, the plan was for Amy to join me on this. Obviously, you know, I wasn't involved with the accounts or anything else, and there's going to be lots of questions. So if you haven't watched my previous video, what I will do after this recording is posted, I'll put my email in the channel, and then email me some questions, guys. If you have questions about what you see today and you want us or Amy to explain a bit more, send me those questions, and when we record the Amy story, as I'm calling it now, I'll put those questions to her. So just before I get into this, I just want to give you a bit of a backstory. Amy joined, and now I believe what I'm saying is accurate here, but she might correct me, in September 2024. What I'm going to show you is what's passable as accounts. They're not, they're records. And I'm going to show you records that Amy introduced, or obviously once she got settled in. And they run from Jan 25 to the 10th of September. Obviously, you know, we don't have anything after that, and we know the reasons why. So before then, obviously, there's been quite numerous different people involved in the banking and, you know, the accounts. And although I don't have any concrete evidence, I have spoken to numerous people and talked about their time while they had that position or had some involvement. And, you know, a lot of what I'm going to say is what they've told me, and it's been confirmed by multiple different parties. So we're going to get into that in a moment, but let me just address something that Ian said, and it's quite interesting. I do believe during the Mel interview, if you haven't watched it, you know, it's online. You know, we're gonna deal with that. There's so many lies in there that we have to address it and correct it. But one of the things that Ian said was, he was talking to Mel, and it's the FCA information. Just let me bring this up. So he was referring to this. Now, as you can see from the date range here, it's from July 2023 to November 2024. So it's before Amy really started insisting on some sort of record keeping. Ian now said on that, well, how could he's now saying that this isn't true and it's all fabricated because all of the accounts were frozen. How did he have access to all of this money? But on previous webinars, and this is the thing with Ian, he tells so many lies so often, and like with any liar, he can't remember all the lies that he spins, because on previous webinars, he's mentioned that this Expo account, you know, he never declared any of these accounts, and he's boasted on webinars that the FCA left that one. He didn't freeze that one because, you know, it was a way of them tracking what he was spending to get him caught in this trap that they set for him. But let's just look at some of the details. And you've got to remember, this is beforehand. So, you know, I'm going to show you what Amy recorded. And this proves that this has been going on for a lot longer than we have records for. So he spent, you know, I think you've probably all seen this, but, you know, there's accounts of 24,000 on luxury expenditure. Cartier, Chanel, we all know who that was for. Over $60,000 on luxury travel. Or on travel, sorry, don't put words in, it's travel, not luxury, David, travel, including flights and hotel. The account sees transfers totaling over $80,000 to an account. Now that account there, that one in Spain, that's Sarah's account. It's Sarah's account. So they're to transfer to Sarah and her bank account, is what I've been told. Although I am told it is unclear whether the account is linked to, right, okay, to Mr. Stamp. Over $157,000 is credited to the Expo account. Now, this is obviously the transfers between hand, and the Expo account is where Ian's spending most of the money. So that's part of the judgment. Was that? But according to Ian, he's now dismissing this. He said, well, they froze all my accounts up and everything else, even though, you know, he's laughed and joked on previous webinars that wasn't the case, and they left these accounts open so they could track him. So Mr. Boffa told me not only Mr. Stamp failed to disclose these accounts to the applicant once he was served with the variation order, he has dealt with the accounts and diminished the funds in breach of the restraint order, which he's laughed and joked about. But he can't deny this, okay, because he said again on previous webinars that, you know, he didn't tell them all about his banks and they were tracking him. So that's important. You've also got to understand, if you look at the channel, okay, over the last week or so, I've been posting a lot of articles written about Ian's previous business activity. Now, he'll turn around and say that these are all false, made up, and it was part of the entrapment, and he won this in court. But they're still online, and you can still find them. In all of these articles, if you've read them, it remains the same. Investors misled, investors not getting back what was promised, the services delivered, the returns, and they all point to Ian taking most of the money. Read the articles, they're there. So again, that indicates what he's done so many times in the past. So it's starting to get harder and harder for him to keep coming up with all this bollocks, pardon my French, and denying all of this. I haven't got proof and evidence of this, but it is well known that he used £300,000 to buy a property in Tangier for Sarah, whose parents actually now live in it. And what backs that up is the call recording that I put into the channel, where Ian's asking Kieran to send 15,000 euros to Sarah to complete the furniture or the decorating of that property. So although I don't have proof of that, several people that I've spoken to and people with inside who are still working there know that this is the case. So he took £300,000. I'm assuming it's pounds. It could have been dollars. It could have been euros. I don't know. It's probably, maybe it's euros. I don't know. But he's still 300, whatever currency it is, of members' money that was generated through the currency creation campaign, which took in around about 1.2, 1.4 million. And the same currency creation that he refused to give, or promised that he'd give refunds to if you didn't get your money by December 2024, and then came out and obviously said, well, you can have your refunds once we get back end fees in, which you still haven't done, obviously, but it would mean that the cancellation of all your services. Now, I have got a letter, actually, that I wasn't going to do a video on, but I'm going to now, because just the way that Ian's behaving, you know, the gloves are off, and I'm going to show lots more things that I wasn't going to talk about. I'll do that in another video, but it talks about the currency creation and the refund with a trustee. So there's a bit of a backstory. So we have this repeating of activity by Ian from for most of, you know, goes back to 2007. So, you know, that what he said in Mel's interview is lies, and there's just so many lies in there, it's unbelievable. We've talked about the historical articles that are in the channel. I've talked about the property and the decoration, having it decorated, and obviously the villa that Ian currently lives in is costing members £4,000 to £6,000. I believe, again, I don't know if that's the right currency, but that's been confirmed by 2 different people as well, per month. He says he doesn't live in a luxury villa, but well, you know, costing that much, it is pretty luxurious in my mind. So we've got a bit of a backstory. So I'm really going to now show you the records that I have. Now, you've got to remember that this is a, was it 14 million, I think it is, turnover business. And what I'm going to show you is far from a set of accounts. It's actually a joke, considering this is members' money. Okay, it's not Ian's money, it's not my money, it's not anybody's money, it's members' money. But this is the extent of their record keeping. And this is Amy, you know, trying her best here. So I'm going to try and move my head if I can. Move up a bit. Okay, so up here we've got obviously some of the descriptions. Now, as I say, this runs from January 25 through to the 10th of September. And I'm just going to go through each month expenditure, and I've highlighted. Some of these are obviously genuine business expenses. But I think as I'm talking, you can start seeing the numbers here. So we've got a reference here, Ian's draws, and this is constant through all of the months that I'm going to show you. Flights and hotels, okay, that's 7,495. Silver bullet, I'm not sure what that is. That could be a genuine business expense. Flight and hotels, 5,000. You can see the initials here. And this is the person that has actually paid them. You can see the currency that it was originally paid, the bank that it was transferred from, and you can see that it was paid in full. And then you've just got general drawings. You know, if we come across here, starts here, 7, 17, 4, 7 there, 3, 3. So all of this expenditure here for this month totals £58,402.49. I don't know any of this has gone. Amy doesn't know where any of this has gone. I doubt anybody knows where any of this has gone, apart from Ian. But 58,000. We're going to come down here, and you're going to see so many blanks and things. There will be somebody that's watching this, and they'll know who that is. Excuse me. So he'll know who that refers to. I'm not going to mention his name. We come down here and we get into some, you know, general expenditure. Pool cleaning. Okay, that, you know, don't get me wrong. You know, that's Indonesian, so it looks like a lot, but it's actually only £49. But that's the pool in the villa that Ian rents, which doubles up as an office. So, you know, it's a genuine office expense for the office, but then you're paying for the pool cleaning as well. You've got safe store here. Now, this is in every month. This is obviously when he had to do a runner to first Bali and now into Cyprus. He had to store all the stuff that he had in the rented property in Portsmouth, which was also costing £4,000 a month by all accounts. So each month, you guys are paying to store what is basically his personal belongings. You know, it's not a huge amount, but again, it's your members' money. There's not really much more on this. You know, this is just, I don't know what any of this is, to be honest. I don't think anyone did. This is obviously what Kieran was working on. So looking at that month, there's lots of, you know, flights, hotels, general drawings, which totals 58,402. And he went out on a webinar and said I was well paid. Okay, I was well paid, but nowhere near that. So now we look into February. And, you know, let's just focus on this number. Drawings. Ian's drawings. Ian's draws. all of this. This totals £81,685.68. 81,000. What's it for? Don't know. It just says Skype request, Skype request, Skype request. Passport app and posted. Yeah, you know, that's for when he was changing his name and everything else. Passport photo. That's obviously highlighted. One withdrawal, 61,000, £61,620.97. Wizz Air, you know, nothing really there. Again, Skype. There's the storage again in there. Health and wellness. So I guess, you know, you guys are not a huge amount, but you're paying for whatever supplements and everything else that Ian is using, because even that is being charged back to you guys. Again, this is Kieran's notes. So huge month, 81,000. March, no activity really. Interesting. That is Peter of England. Okay, so you know, that's Ian buying. Some of you would have heard of Peter of England. That's Ian actually buying someone else's research so he can review it, maybe copy it, do whatever he does. But you know, he claims that he's the one that's worked all of this out. You know, he's the genius. But a lot of the time, what he's actually doing is researching other people's research and then pretending it and passing it off as his own. You've got the storage again. I think that's probably a genuine business expense there. And this is obviously telephones, which you can put down as you know, genuine business expenditure. So we move into April. And again, is Ian's draws. Skype request, Skype request, WhatsApp request, WhatsApp request, WhatsApp request. You can see all of the requests, how much the transactions, and for this particular month, 56,225. We're back to pool cleaning. You know, these are small amounts. These are actually, you know, again, it's Indonesian money, so it's very small. But you're paying for the cleaner. Paying for cleaning his pool. These are genuine. Obviously, these are Ian's villas, Indonesian currency. So this is the property that he rents, and it's doubled up as an office. So, you know, genuine. You know, I'm not saying that all of this is wrong, because some of it is genuine business expenditure. So that's how much he's paying for the villa. You've got the storage again. That's another, you know, £880 every month. Some of this is redacted because, you know, there is some private information on there and people's names that need to be protected. This isn't about anyone else. It's obviously about Ian and what he's doing. So again, there we got another 56,225 drawdowns of members' money. I'm not saying Ian's not entitled to be paid. He is. You know, everyone's entitled to be paid, and as the owner and the, you know, he deserves to get paid more than anybody. But when you consider what most of you members are going through, and I was well paid, very well paid. Make no bones about that. But when some of you guys are going through absolute torture, and he's sitting there, don't worry about losing your property, you never owned it, and he's got this sort of, you know, drawing this amount of money, you've got to question it, and you've got to start looking and saying and connecting the dots and saying, well, this is all this is all showing what he's done in the past. Since 2007, all these successful businesses they're all the same. The drawdowns, taking investors' money, taking members' money, it all starts to add up. We're going to May, signal request, Fiverr, that's probably genuine business, a passport again, signal, so not horrendous, well, compared to other months anyway. I'm sure many people would like 17,000 320. We've got the UK storage again here, slightly gone up. That's probably just a general price increase. And, you know, a lot of this, I would say that this is, I don't know what it is, but it's probably genuine business expenditure. The phone bills and everything else is there. So on that one, you know, we're looking at a draw of around £17,000. June. Now this is interesting. So we start getting into interest. So now what we're starting to see is Sarah, contractor invoice. So she's obviously a contractor now, is she? What does she do? I never knew about this. But you know, she's invoicing. So here for in June, she was paid £4,000. We'd love to know what she did for that money. I got well paid, as I keep saying, but at least I actually did something for my money. We got flights and hotel. You know, the information's missing. I don't know what Silver Bullet is. That's a Silver Bullet Trust, actually. We got another flights and hotel there. And then we've just got general drawings. So, you know, roughly tying up, it was probably more than that this month. We just don't have the numbers. You know, the 4,000 there, and then Ian, over 40,000. Again, hopefully he can explain all of this and justify why he was taking this money. We've got again storage, we've got the cleaner again. That's probably about really as much on that spreadsheet. So we look at July. Now look at July. Sarah's really working hard now. So don't forget, we all had, you know, we were all monitored. All of our hours are monitored. And, you know, he's made accusations against other team members who are no longer with us that were booking time and not doing any work at all. I can guarantee you, I never saw Sarah's name on Clockified. Sorry. So I don't know what she was doing and the hours, but she had a cracking month. That month, 16,000. Now I'm going to tell you something, what I've heard. And again, I can't substantiate this, but it has come from various different sources. Ian has tried to make out that, you know, everything that we're done, we're weaponized and staff can't get paid and how it's so hard on the staff and unfair on the staff. The staff were paid late last month. I don't know if they will get paid at the end of this month. I don't know. Time will tell. They only got paid. They got a percentage of it, half of it, as I understand. I could be wrong there, and then the other half halfway through the month, because apparently I think a member came along and put in a massive amount of money for services, and a significant amount of money. Well, what's interesting and what I've heard is that Sarah is still the priority, and Ian has said she gets priority. She will get paid before anybody in the organization of around about 10 to 14,000. So the staff will be working. They might not be getting paid their full money or not any money at all. I don't know. But Sarah will still get paid under all circumstances. So before anything else gets paid, Sarah will still get her monthly drawdown, which is quite shocking. It really is. So looking at here, we've got some more. We've got flights, boats. So in Sarah, I actually posted something in the group and said I captioning on it. So here you're paying for only £411, but you're paying for a boat. Drawings, hotel, flights. This month, Sarah taking a very generous 16,000, and Ian drawing down 30,000. Some of that may have been for business use, but I'm just giving you the highlight of figures here. I'll let Ian explain that to you. Again, we've got the villa, so that's genuine business. That's the office. We've got the pool cleaner, and we've got the safe store. We're moving now on to August. Sarah, so we've got another invoice there from Sarah. Sarah Hotel, £1,700. Got a camera. Ian did need to buy a camera, so that I can see that. Soccer Edge. Now this is an interesting one. I have brought this up before. So you all remember Soccer Edge? Soccer Edge is Ian's gambling algorithm. You guys are putting money into betting accounts. It's not a huge amount, but you're paying for the money that goes into the betting accounts for him to allow him to do that trading on Soccer Edge. So I'm just wondering when you guys are going to get a share for that. Sarah Camera. So I guess this is something to do with, you know, the work that she does for Matrix Freedom Republic of Old Soul. She needed the camera. I haven't seen her on camera before, but you know, £1,131.12. That's a hell of a camera. So interesting to know what that is. Again, we've got more invoices from Sarah, flights. I don't know why, you know, this is double record. You've got an invoice August 04 and you've got the same here again. So, you know, and different amounts as well. So, you know, you could turn around and say, well, they're the same invoice, but then if they were the same invoice, they'd be paid or they'd be the same amount. So this month is drawdown and Sarah's together 14,756.98. So this takes it up to September, and again it's Sarah, and another camera. Don't know what that's for. But this is up till the 10th of September. So just under £4,000. So there's some huge numbers in there. And I can tell you what that totals to. So from January to the 10th of September, between Ian and Sarah, obviously majority is Ian, 347,686.79 pence. 347,686 £79. So just running through that again. January, drawdown, over 58,000. February, over 81,000. March, 0. April, over 56. May, over 7. June, over 40. July, you know, Sarah, over 16. Ian, over 30. August, 14. And then you've got September. So where has the money gone? Now, that obviously doesn't equate to the 14,000, nowhere near it. And, you know, salaries was a high, but why isn't there any salaries on here? Why is this the extent of the bookkeeping for an organization that is taking in members' money? So I'm not saying that Ian's had all of that, because of course he hasn't. Running Matrix Freedom, you know, is a colossal beast. It has a big burn rate, a big salary, you know, all the IT staff and the sales team and everything else that comes along with it. And then all the infrastructure as well. But it still doesn't warrant, you know, I'll leave it to you to decide whether you feel that, you know, the value that you've had from your membership so far warrants, in over this short period of time, you paying 347,000 for. Don't forget, there's a new car in there. He's bought a villa for Sarah. You know, the rent that he's paying on his luxury villa in North Cyprus. So for me, this raises a lot of questions. And I wasn't aware of any of this. Okay, this only came to light after I had resigned. But when I started to see this, this is really, you know, on top of everything that Ian said about me. And when I started to understand what's really going on with this, was what's driven me to do the action that I've taken. So I think Ian's doing a webinar. Well, I know he's doing a webinar on Sunday. So Ian, I know you're going to be watching this. So I think you need to explain some of this to the members that attend that webinar. You know, you should be, did you spend? Here's some questions. Did you use members' money to buy Sarah a property in Tangier? And who lives in it? Why is Sarah on the payroll? What position does she hold? Did you use members' money to purchase a brand new car? I know you did, because I've had video calls of you sitting in it, driving it. Nice little convertible. Don't know if it's a Merc or a BMW, by the way, but it looks very nice. You know, justify why your villa is in North Cyprus is costing $6,000 a month, 4,000 to 6,000. Why have you taken so much of the members' money, and what have you done with it? And where has it gone? What is it being used for? Is Sarah getting paid? Is she getting paid 10 to 14,000 a month? And is she a priority? Have you actually turned around and said that Sarah must be paid first and beyond all? Are the staff going to get their salaries on time and in full? Have you paid all the affiliates from last month? Are you going to pay all the affiliates this month before Sarah? So they're the sort of questions that, you know, I'd like to see you answer to the members in. I'm sure you can spin this. I'm sure you can come up with it. Now, what you guys can do is, because, you know, I've tried to keep this brief and short. I've shown you the evidence that I have. I think it's concrete. It shows what's been going on. If you've got questions, and I hope you have, I'm going to pop my email into the channel once this video is uploaded. Send me questions. And when I do the recording with Amy, I will ask those questions. Because this should be raising questions. You should have lots of questions regarding this. Because Ian will paint it that we've stolen the money. And Amy's going to explain all of that. No one's stolen any money apart from Ian. What Amy's done, and I've said this before, is very brave what she's done. She's protected members' money. And she's going to talk about that situation. But Ian has some questions to answer. So send them to me. I'll ask Amy. I'll put them to Amy. She will give you the answers. And Ian, honesty, transparency, all those 4 pillars that you talk about. Well, here's your opportunity. Start being transparent. Start being honest. Start being truthful. Start explaining what you've been doing. And this is just a snapshot. You know, you've got to go back to, you know, when we done the currency creation promotion, which was massively successful, it got the company, saved it really, and got it out of a massive, massive financial hole, because the freezing of the accounts did have a major impact on the organization. I'm not disputing that. That was, you know, I think there was over £1 million frozen there, and I think it still is frozen. I don't know. But the currency creation promotion saved the organization. You know, and we were, and I was, and he said it, that, you know, the money raised would go into the funding of a department. That never happened. It went into the funding of him buying a property for Sarah. Yes. And all the other things that he's done with the money. So there you go. So I'll show you the money. I've shown you the money. I've shown you where it's gone. And I'll leave it with you guys to come to your own conclusion. Is Ian as truthful, as honest, and as transparent as he claims to be? Thanks very much.